Hello and welcome to this video lesson. Today I want us to go through database techniques, and this is the most challenging area for most people when they try to learn Access. Some will say my MS Access is very difficult or it has concepts which are difficult to understand. Today I want to demyst all those beliefs, and we will go ahead and do the following activities. We are going to create two tables. We will also populate data in those tables. We will create relationship between the two tables, create queries to calculate data between the two tables. We will also use queries to select the information we want from the two tables. Finally, I will show you how you can create reports easily from the queries which you have created. And you will bear with me because the video will be a bit long, but the most important thing is getting the concept right. Just go to Windows desktop, and in the search box you just write Access. When it suggests, you start it. Once it is loaded, you just choose blank desktop database by just clicking on the icon, double click. When you click once, it gives you a chance to name your database. I'm just going to call this database competition. Now our database is about an event which we assume some participants are doing cycling, running, and jumping, and their points are recorded. And finally, we will be able to determine who are the winners for the competition. The name of the database is here. Now here, I have to choose in which place on the computer to save the file. By default, you can see it goes to Documents. I will go ahead here and change this to Desktop. I will just come and click here, Desktop, and I will create a new folder and call it competitions. Press enter twice and click OK. Now you can see the path has changed. Now it is clearly showing the file is on the desktop. I will go ahead and click create. The default table is always table 1. The first thing to do is to modify the table. Just come to under the view icon, you choose design, then you name your table. I'm going to create two tables, one with the name scores, another one with the name snacks. So for the scores, I will just write here scores. We are going to use this table for recording points. And immediately you can see it is showing me the place where I can put my field names and the data type. By data type, we mean the nature of data which is going to be accepted in the field which is named on the left here. If it is numeric data, you will go for number, and if it is a mixture of numbers and text and maybe dashes and other symbols, you can choose always text. For the text, we have long text and short text. Any text which is 256 or less characters are better accommodated by the short text. If the characters are more than 256, you can as well go for long text. So let me go ahead and create the first field. We'll just call it competitor ID. And I'm going to have this as short text. The other area of interest is, of course, participant, competitor name, that can be short text. I will also capture the gender of the participant. That can as well be short text. And the next one should be the event. The first one is cycling. Cycling. Here I will be recording numbers, so I will choose here number. The next event is running. We'll record scores. Number is appropriate data type, and they will also do jumping. Here I will choose number. Remember, the first field is recommended to be unique to identify different data pieces which will be recorded in the table, and that is where you can see it is primary key. A primary key is simply a column which will never contain repeating values. You can undo the primary key, and if you want to make it back, you just right click and choose primary key. Now this is the structure of my table, and these are the columns or the fields, and this column shows the data type or the nature of data which will be accepted in those fields. I will switch the view to datasheet and save any changes. So here I will populate this table with the data which is going to be used in this activity. I will just start here with the first ID and the competitor name, Brian. If you are not interested with the font, which is at the moment Calibri, you can as well click the box at the corner and choose here the font you want, or just type, if you know the name of the font, Arial, like that. You can as well make the rows wider by just pointing between the rows and dragging or resizing the rows. For gender, I will just use M and F. For Brian, scored 13 points in cycling, in running 17, and in jumping 15. I will pause the video and come back when I have already populated all the data in this table. Now I will go ahead and do the last row. That is Oscar. Male, 13, 19, and 8. Now you can see I have a complete table of scores with a column for gender, competitor's name, and the points they scored in the competition. I will go ahead and save the changes that I've made to my table, and I can as well close it here. If I want to open it, I will just come here and double click, and it will open up on the other window on the right. The next table I want to make is about the snacks. The snacks they use during the competition. I'm going to go to the Create tab and here I will choose table design, which will give me the design view. I will go ahead and have my field names. Can have here sales ID, and this time I want it to number automatically, so I will choose auto number. The second field will be particulars, the things which the different competitors were issued during the competition. It could be a snack like bottle of water or soda. Particulars, that can be short text. And the next one is the price for the piece of snack which was given, and I have number. I want this first field to be primary key, so I'm going to right click it and choose primary key. I will go ahead and save the changes by pressing this save button. Then it will ask me for a name. I'm going to name this snacks and click OK. I will switch to the datasheet view, and here I can go ahead and choose my font. Just click at the corner here, and I will type Arial, and I will expand my row. So here I will go ahead and also make a table which shows the data of the different types of snacks which the competitors used. There is one field I forgot to add, so I will have to switch back to the design view, and after price I'm supposed to add here competitor ID, competitor ID, which is short text. I will go back to my datasheet view and save any changes I made. So I will go ahead here and write here bottle of soda, and the price is 10. The next snack is bottle of water. The price is 5. I will go ahead and pause the video and resume after I have populated this step. I will go ahead and do the last row of the snacks table. I will write here French fries, which cost 25. Now you can see this snacks table is now complete, and it shows the different items which were picked by the competitor. So I will go ahead and add here the competitor ID to show who took what. And this competitor ID, remember, is also available in the scores table. When I open this scores table, you can see competitors have IDs. And we are going to use the IDs of competitors to link them to whatever they picked from maybe canteen during the competition. So the person who took bottle of soda should be 109, 105, 101, 103, 105, and 102. So you can see here we identify the particulars of snacks with the competitor ID. I will explain later the importance of putting this ID here. I will save the changes, and now you can see we have our two tables, scores, which shows the scores scored by the competitors, and we also have the snacks, which shows the people who picked the snacks from the canteen during the competition. Now, sometimes you may need information from the two tables. For example, if we want to know how many people took snacks, and in that information we want it to list competitors' name and maybe their gender. That information is not available from only one table. You will have to pick it from the two tables. And in order for us to pick information from more than one table, the two tables which provides the information must be related. So I will go ahead and try to relate the two tables. So the main reason why we relate table is to allow us to be able to pick information from all those tables. If a table is not related to the other, then it means you can only pick information from that particular table, but not across any other table. And to create a relationship or to link two tables using a relationship, we use database tools. There's a tab here you can see. Then there's an icon for relationships. Go ahead and click the relationship button. It will list for you all the tables. If you have queries, it will list for you here. So I'm just going to add my two tables by just clicking add here. Then click the other one and click add. I will go ahead and close this box. Now you can see in the relationship window we have two tables with their columns listed. You have to look for a field which appears in both tables, and in this case you can see competitor ID field appears in the two. So I will drag this competitor ID from the scores table onto the snack table, but on top of the competitor ID. When I release the mouse button, this relationship window appears, and you can see I'm picking competitor ID from scores table, relating it to competitor ID in the snacks table. I will go ahead and enforce integrity. To enforce integrity simply means when information is being deleted from one table, then a warning will appear to tell whoever is deleting it that that information is related to another information in another table. But if you don't force integrity, it simply means the user can delete information in any of the tables which are related without giving a warning. So I will go ahead and click create, and you can see the relationship has been established. I will go ahead and save the relationship, then close here. So finally, you can see if you come here to the database tools, click relationship, you can see the two tables are there related. And now we will go ahead and open this scores table, and we want to determine here total points scored by each competitor by adding the points for cycling, running, and jumping. Then we also want to find the average scores per competitor. So those calculations, you cannot do them directly on this table. You have to do them on a query. So I will go ahead and create a query by just clicking create. then query design. In the query design, I will just choose the scores table and click add and close. So here I am only interested with this table. I'm not interested with the snacks table because I want to calculate the scores. So I will go ahead and select competitor ID, first name, gender, cycling, running, and jumping. And now to do the totaling, I will simply do this. Let me just hide this bar. You can hide this bar on the left to create more space. I will come here in the field. You can see this row has the title field, and right click, then choose zoom to give me more space for typing. You can see here it has given me a bigger area for typing compared to using this box. But whatever I type here and click OK, it will be inserted in this box here. In the zoom box, I will create a new column called total. Then I will put a colon. So we separate the title of the column with the calculation you are doing using colon. So after the colon, now I want to do some calculation here. I'm going to pick these columns with the data. You know very well, cycling, running, and jumping are columns which accept the points scored by the competitors. So you are supposed to copy without spelling mistakes the names of these columns and use them in calculation. So I will start with cycling, then use the plus operator for addition, go to running, use the plus operator for addition, and finally jumping. And then I will click OK. So that information is already inserted there, you can see. And now remember, the name of this column is total. Then separating the name with a colon, I wrote the calculation. So I as well come here in this column and right click, zoom. I want to give this column the name average and put my colon. And I want to take, you know very well, to calculate average, you have to take total divided by the number of items which contribute to that total. So I will take the name, first I will write the name of the column, which is average, separate it with colon, then I will write the name total. When I write total, I'm simply referring to this first column which I created and named it total. Then I'm going to use the / for division, and I'm going to divide by 3 because I have 3 columns, that is cycling, running, and jumping. For me to get average, I will click OK. Now I'm ready to go. I can now run this query here, and you can see the average appeared. Don't worry about the decimal places. We will round them off in the report. So you can see this is a calculated column showing the total points, that is 13 plus 17 plus 15, giving me 45, and this is the average point scored. So this is how we do calculations in MS Access database by using a query. So I will go ahead and click here, save, and give this query a name. and just call it scores analysis Q for query. I will go ahead and close this. That is one method of using queries in calculation. The other thing I want to do is I want to make a query to list the competitors who took snacks from canteen. So I will click create query design. I will go ahead and add my two tables. So in this query, I will only list few columns. For example, I want to know the competitor ID and the competitor name, but I'm not interested with the cycling, running, or jumping scores which they scored. I just want competitor ID, name, and I also want to know here the sales ID and whatever they picked and the price of whatever they picked. So I only double click the columns I want. So I will just run this and you can see it is giving me a summary of those people who took snacks from the canteen and the price of whatever they picked. So this type of query is known as select query because it is not calculating anything, it is only selecting the information you want. So I will go ahead and save this query. Let me just call it snacks taken Q and save this. So you can see I have two queries, one to calculate the scores and another one which is listing for me the people who took snacks from the canteen. I will go ahead and prepare two reports, one for this analysis of scores, another one for the snacks. To create a report, you just open the query where you want to pick the information, go to create and click the report icon. This is a shortcut for generating a report. Then you have to format your report now by just resizing the width of the columns so that everything is shown. Report is simply a document in a database which is printable. You can print it and you should always make sure that your report is well formatted and looks attractive. Now I will go ahead and remove those decimal places by just clicking this column and you can see it is selected. Then simply look for properties sheet here. And in the property sheet, you have a property called decimal places here. You just choose your 0 decimal place. Just choose here decimal format. Let me just choose standard. Under format, I choose standard. Decimal place is 0. So I was able to remove the decimal places by using the property sheet. If you don't want it, just close it. And if you need it, you just click property sheet and you are able to modify the information in a report. So I will go ahead and also expand this down here. The report can have a good, meaningful title. So I can just write here scores choose obtained by competitors. You can go further and make this bold by just clicking Home tab and give it a bold text. And even these titles, you press Ctrl on the keyboard, keep on clicking all of them like this, and you can even make them bold also. Whatever is in between this broken line will be printed. If something is outside the broken line on both sides, it will be left out during printing. So you have to squeeze everything to be inside. Now my report is done, and I will go ahead and save the work, and I will just call this report scores report. Down here it looks okay and no problem with it. I will just go ahead and close it, and I will also close the query. If I want to see my report, I will double click it here, and it shows me everything again. If I want to print it, I will just click File, Print. Then you just choose the type of printer you want. You can even say Print Preview, and you are able to see how it looks when printed. This is how it will look. Let me close that. I will go ahead now and open the Synapse Taken query, and to create a report, just click Create, click Report, squeeze all the columns, squeeze all the columns inside. You can even go further and change things like font by just clicking this. If you come here to Home, you can change whatever you want and give them whatever font you want. So it is very flexible. Let me just balance this report here. Like, you can even position the items in the column by centering them. Then change the title from competitors to snacks. I will expand this, bring in the page numbering, and make these titles bold. Press Ctrl down on the keyboard and keep clicking. Now for this report, I want to know total amount of snacks which were taken. So I will just click this column. I want it to calculate automatically here the total amount. Click the column, and under Design, there is an icon with the functions. Just go to this icon and choose Sum. Then automatically it has calculated the sum for me down here. I can make that sum bold. That is fine. And I want here a description. For description, I'll just go to Design, then there's a label here. Click the label and come and type here, maybe total to pay. Click away, and you can squeeze the label. You just click here and change the alignment from left to right by just clicking here, align right, and now I am ready to go. My report is ready, and that is how. Let me give it a name. Snacks report. Click OK. Now you can see I have tables, queries, and their reports here, well outlined. So this report is dynamic. If anything is added, it reflects on the report. For example, right now our total is 91. Let us assume a person here. Let me just pick somebody here. 107 is not in the list. Assuming 107 went and took snacks. So if we come here and right here, bottle of juice, and maybe it is around 18, and 107 took it. So this is new information in the table. After saving, if I open my snacks report, you can see the total has changed and the information has updated. There's a bottle of juice and also total was updated automatically. These reports, you can as well arrange them by just clicking view, layout view. It gives you a view where you can adjust a lot of things. Like this one, I can move it with the arrow keys down. If I don't want it there. That is what we call the layout view. And you can as well go to print preview and see how it will look when it is printed. That is how simple it is to manage information in MS Access database by using tables, relationships, queries, and finally produce printable reports. Thank you for participating. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and see you next time. Bye bye.